In math all the time, but especially when we're working with operations, we need to really ask ourselves one of the most important questions that we can think about. Does it make sense? Because whether you're using a calculator or you are finding the answers using your strategies on pencil and paper, you need to look at the answer at the end and say, does it make sense? Because if you make one small mistake, you type in one wrong number, or you are missing just one piece of the process, you could get an answer that on any sense just doesn't fit. And it's not about finding the exact right answer every single time, but it's being able to look at what you have and thinking to yourself, is this possible? Does this make sense? Imagine it like this. Every time you answer a question, you are then taken to a broadcast studio that you might see maybe after sports games or after political interviews. And you're going to have reporters asking you, what you just did, does that make sense? Would you stand behind that answer whether you know it's exactly right or exactly wrong? We need to think about that. So let's take a look at a practice problem as to how exactly we're figuring out if it makes sense, and then thinking about that idea of having to reflect on it afterwards. Take a few minutes to solve 37 times 54, and when you're ready, come back to the video and I will show you how I solved it just as a quick review, and then we will focus on the checking as to whether or not it makes sense. So pause the video now. So just as a quick review, I'm going to always put my larger number on top. I'm using traditional. If you decided to use lattice, that would be fine. The point is to get our answer and then check to see if it makes sense. So 7 times 4 is 28. 7 times 5 is 35. Plus 2 is 37. Put in my placeholder for my 3, which is actually a 30. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 5 is 15. Plus 1 is 16. I can add them up, and I get an answer of 1,998. So again, how do I know this makes sense? Well, what we want to do is create a mental estimate. And what I mean by mental estimate is that you come up with two numbers that are very close to the original problem and see if it's coming close to your exact answer. So for this problem, 37, I'm going to change this to something that I can easily do mentally. Well, the things that I can easily do mentally are 30 or 40, and 37 is way closer to 40. And again, 54, 50, or 60. Now this is a little bit more in the middle, but 50 makes more sense. 40 times 50 equals 2,000. And in this case, my answer is incredibly close. But it's not so much about how close to the answer it is, it's more about place values. I have the same amount of place values here and here, and it's in the lower thousands. It's not coming out to 2,000, and my estimate is at 9,000. Same place values and close in the answer. Next, go ahead and solve 121 times 82. Again, solve it with your own method. I will show you my quick solving, and then we will worry about checking to see if it makes sense. I'm going to set this up with my larger number on top. 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, and 2 times 1 is 2. Put in my placeholder for 80, and again, do my multiplication, giving me an answer of 9,922. So again, I need to ask myself, does my answer make sense? So again, I'm going to create a mental estimate. 121 is very close to 120, and 82 is very close to 80. So using my mental math strategies, 12 times 8 is 96, and I tack on my 2 zeros. 9,600 is very close to 9,922. Another quick strategy we can do is look at how you changed both numbers. 121, I moved down to 120. 82, I moved down to 80. So by making both numbers less than the original, my answer in my mental estimate should be less than my answer, and that came out as well. So, are there any questions out there about what I just did? You, sir. Thank you. I was wondering how you were confident that 37 times 54 was even close to being correct. 37 times 54, that was a tough one. But after I was done and I did 40 times 50, and I got 2,000 with that estimate mentally, I knew that my answer was very close to that, so I was confident that it at least made sense. Any other questions? Yes. I was wondering how you were confident in 121 times 82. Whew. 121 times 82, that 3-digit number, that's challenging. Well, it was tough, but again, I did 120 times 80, and I knew that 12 times 8 was 96, so I knew my answer was 9,600 for my estimate. And my answer was very close to that, so again, I was confident that my answer definitely made sense. Thank you for your time.